The importance of a strong mind. Having a strong mind is incredibly important for success in life. It acts like a secret power that keeps you going, even when things get tough. Mental strength helps you tackle problems, stick to your goals, and face challenges with determination, especially when your talents and skills alone aren't enough. This video explores key ideas in Buddhism and how they relate to 10 habits that can weaken your mind. By learning and applying these teachings, we can start a journey towards making our minds stronger and more resilient. Habit number 1. Having a negative mindset. A negative mindset is like a heavy cloud that obscures the bright sun of our inner happiness. This habit weakens us mentally because it casts a gloomy shadow over everything in our lives. When we constantly focus on the bad, we miss out on the good. It's like wearing dark glasses that make even the beautiful moments appear dim. Constant negative thinking leads us to believe that everything is bad and that success and happiness are impossible. This outlook becomes a self-fulfilling prophecy, influencing our actions and decisions. We may become afraid to take chances or try new things, convinced that we will fail. To overcome a negative mindset, we can turn to Buddhist teachings. One key idea is mindfulness, which involves paying attention to our thoughts without judging them. Instead of letting negative thoughts take over, we can acknowledge them and then choose to focus on positive aspects, like sweeping away clouds to let the sunshine through. Buddhism also introduces the practice of metta, or loving-kindness meditation. This involves directing warm and positive thoughts towards ourselves and others. By regularly practicing metta, we gradually shift our mindset from negativity to a more compassionate and positive outlook. The concept of impermanence in Buddhism teaches us that everything changes. The bad times will pass, just like the good times. Knowing this, we can face challenges with a more resilient mindset, understanding that difficulties are not permanent. Embracing these Buddhist teachings empowers us to break free from negativity and foster a positive and resilient mind. Habit number 2. Complaining about things outside your control. Complaining about things outside our control is like holding on to a hot coal. It only hurts us. This habit weakens our minds by focusing our attention on what's wrong, rather than on finding solutions. It's like getting stuck in quicksand. The more we complain, the deeper we sink into negativity. Buddhist teachings explain why this habit weakens us mentally and how we can break free from it. When we complain, we often forget about impermanence, the idea that everything is always changing. Complaining makes us believe that things will never get better, trapping us in a cycle of discontent. Instead of seeing challenges as temporary, we make them seem like permanent problems. To overcome the habit of complaining, we can practice acceptance. This means understanding that life has ups and downs, and that we can't control everything. Acceptance is like learning to dance in the rain instead of complaining about the storm. By accepting what we cannot change, we free ourselves from the heavy burden of constant dissatisfaction. By incorporating these Buddhist teachings into our lives, we can develop habits that strengthen our minds and improve our overall well-being. Mindfulness, loving-kindness meditation, and acceptance are powerful tools that help us face life's challenges with resilience and positivity. Buddhism also encourages us to focus our energy on things we can control. It's like steering a boat in a storm. We may not control the weather, but we can navigate our vessel. By taking action where we have power, we shift from passive complaining to an active problem-solving mindset. In Buddhism, letting go is another powerful practice. It's like releasing a balloon. We feel lighter when we let go of unnecessary burdens. Letting go doesn't mean giving up. It means releasing the tight grip on complaints and allowing space for positive change. By incorporating these Buddhist principles into our lives, we learn to approach challenges with a balanced mind, accepting the impermanence of situations and focusing our efforts where we can make a difference. In doing so, we liberate ourselves from the grip of complaints and cultivate a mental strength that propels us forward, even in the face of adversity. Habit number 3. Not expressing yourself. Not expressing yourself is like having a treasure chest, but keeping it locked away. This habit weakens our minds because it stops us from sharing our thoughts, feelings, and ideas with the world. It's like trying to navigate a dark room without turning on the light. Things get confusing and overwhelming. Buddhism teaches that expressing oneself authentically is essential for mental well-being. When we hold back our thoughts and emotions, it's like bottling up a fizzy drink. The pressure builds and might eventually explode. This explosion can manifest as stress, anxiety, or a feeling of being overwhelmed. The practice of right speech in Buddhism encourages us to communicate with truth, kindness, and mindfulness. It's like planting seeds of positivity. Our words can grow into a garden of understanding and connection. By aligning our speech with these principles, we build bridges between ourselves and others, fostering authentic relationships. Mindfulness becomes a valuable tool in overcoming the habit of not expressing oneself. Mindfulness is like a mirror, reflecting our thoughts and helping us become aware of our feelings. By being present in the moment, we can observe our thoughts without judgment and express ourselves with clarity and compassion. Expressing oneself isn't just about words. It can also involve non-verbal communication, such as body language and gestures. These unspoken expressions are like a secret language, conveying our feelings and thoughts even when we don't say a word. By being aware of our non-verbal communication, we enhance our ability to express ourselves authentically. By integrating these Buddhist teachings into our lives, we learn that authentic expression is liberating not only for ourselves, but also for those around us. It's like opening a window to let fresh air in. Expressing ourselves allows the light of understanding and connection to brighten our mental space. Breaking free from the habit of not expressing ourselves, we embark on a journey towards authenticity, building a resilient and empowered mind. Habit number 4. Blaming others for your problems. Blaming others for our problems is like trying to run a race with a backpack full of rocks. It weighs us down and slows our progress. This habit weakens our minds because it takes away our power. It's like handing the steering wheel of our life to someone else instead of driving ourselves. Buddhist teachings illuminate why this habit makes us mentally weak and how we can untangle ourselves from the blame game. The concept of karma in Buddhism teaches us that our actions have consequences. Blaming others is like ignoring this law. It's refusing to recognize that we play a role in the unfolding of our own lives. When we blame, we become spectators rather than active participants in our journey. Taking personal responsibility means understanding that we have the ability to shape our experiences. It's like being the captain of our ship. We may face storms, but we can navigate through them. When we blame others, it's like saying we have no control, but in reality, we do. By embracing the idea that our actions matter, we empower ourselves to make positive choices. To overcome the habit of blaming, forgiveness plays a crucial role. Forgiveness is not about saying the other person was right or that we condone their actions, but about freeing ourselves from the burden of blame and resentment. It's about acknowledging our part in the situation and taking steps to move forward constructively. Forgiveness is a crucial step in overcoming the habit of blaming. Forgiving others and ourselves is about releasing the burden of resentment. It's like setting down a heavy backpack. We feel lighter and freer. Forgiveness is not about saying what others did is okay. It's about freeing ourselves from the weight of carrying that resentment. Mindfulness, a key practice in Buddhism, helps us become aware of our thoughts and actions. It's like shining a light on a dark path. We can see where we're going. By being mindful, we can catch ourselves when we're tempted to blame and choose a more empowering response. This shift from blame to responsibility is like trading the rocks in our backpack for wings that help us soar. Incorporating these Buddhist teachings into our lives invites us to step into our power and take charge of our journey. Breaking free from the blame game is not just about holding others accountable. It's about recognizing our agency and ability to shape a positive and resilient mindset. By steering away from blame and embracing personal responsibility, we embark on a journey towards mental strength and self-empowerment. Habit number 5. Fantasizing. Instead of visualizing. Fantasizing instead of visualizing is like building castles in the air. They might be beautiful, but they lack a solid foundation. This habit weakens our minds because it disconnects us from the reality of the present moment. It's like chasing mirages in a desert. We may never reach what we're yearning for. Buddhism offers insights into why this habit makes us mentally weak and how we can shift from fantasies to visualization for a more grounded and positive mindset. Fantasies often involve unrealistic scenarios and wishful thinking, like expecting a pot of gold at the end of the rainbow. When we get lost in fantasies, we miss out on the beauty of the present moment. This habit weakens us because it leads to disappointment when reality doesn't align with our imagined scenarios. Visualization, on the other hand, involves creating mental images of achievable goals. It's like having a treasure map. We can chart a course to reach our aspirations. Buddhism emphasizes the importance of right intention and right action, which align with visualizing positive outcomes and taking practical steps toward realizing them. By grounding our aspirations in reality, we bridge the gap between dreams and achievable goals. The teachings of impermanence in Buddhism remind us that change is constant. Fantasies often involve clinging to a fixed idea of the future, while visualization adapts to the ever-shifting landscape of life. It's like riding a wave instead of trying to hold on to the shore. We move with the flow of life. By acknowledging the impermanence of all things, we develop a more flexible and resilient mindset. To overcome the habit of fantasizing, mindfulness becomes a valuable tool. It's like putting on glasses that help us see the present clearly. We become aware of our thoughts and gently guide them towards positive and realistic visualization. Mindfulness allows us to appreciate the beauty of the present moment while actively working towards our goals. Incorporating these teachings into our lives encourages us to shift from fantasies to visualization, fostering a more positive and grounded mindset. By embracing the principles of impermanence, right intention, and mindfulness, we break free from the habit of constructing castles in the air. Visualization becomes a powerful ally, helping us manifest positive realities and navigate the journey of life with purpose and resilience. Habit number 6. Not making time for personal relationships. Neglecting personal relationships is like having a garden but forgetting to water the plants. Over time, everything withers away. This habit weakens our minds because humans are social beings, and meaningful connections bring joy and support. It's like trying to sail a boat without wind. We might move, but it's a slow and lonely journey. Buddhist teachings help us understand why this habit makes us mentally weak, and how we can cultivate stronger connections through the gift of time. Neglecting personal connections is like closing the door to a warm and welcoming home. We miss out on the comfort and support that relationships can provide. When we don't make time for our loved ones, It's like neglecting a garden. The weeds of misunderstanding and distance start to grow. This habit weakens our minds because we may feel isolated without the nourishment of love and companionship. Building and maintaining relationships requires time and effort, much like tending to a garden to make it flourish. To overcome the habit of neglecting personal relationships, we can start by being present. Presence is like sunshine for relationships. It helps them thrive. When we spend quality time with our loved ones, it's like watering the plants regularly. It nurtures the bonds and strengthens our connection. By incorporating these Buddhist teachings into our lives, we can build a positive and supportive network of relationships. This effort enhances our mental strength and well-being, creating a balanced and fulfilling life. Communication is another vital aspect of nurturing relationships. It's like the wind that fills the sails of a boat. It propels us forward. Taking the time to listen and share our thoughts and feelings is like the water that keeps the garden of relationships vibrant and alive. By being open and communicative, we foster understanding and deepen our connections. Buddhism encourages us to recognize the impermanence of life, including the time we have with our loved ones. It's like savoring a delicious meal. We appreciate it more when we know it won't last forever. By understanding the fleeting nature of time, we become motivated to prioritize relationships and invest the gift of our time in those we care about. Incorporating these teachings into our lives reminds us that personal relationships are like the threads that weave the fabric of our well-being. By making time for our loved ones, we cultivate a support system that strengthens our minds and enriches our lives. Breaking free from the habit of neglecting personal relationships allows us to navigate the journey of life with companions by our side, making the voyage more joyful and fulfilling. Habit number 7. Letting your emotions rule you. Letting emotions rule us is like being carried away by a strong river current. We lose control and direction. This habit weakens our minds because unmanaged emotions can become overwhelming and lead us astray. It's like being in a storm without a compass. We might get lost in the turbulence. Buddhist teachings guide us to understand why this habit makes us mentally weak and how we can develop emotional intelligence to navigate the currents of our feelings. In Buddhism, mindfulness is a powerful practice that encourages us to observe our emotions without getting swept away by them. It's like standing on the riverbank and watching the water flow. We can witness our emotions without being pulled under. When we let our emotions rule us, it's like being caught in a storm without an anchor. We get tossed around, and it becomes challenging to find our way. The concept of emotional intelligence involves recognizing, understanding, and managing our own emotions, as well as empathizing with the emotions of others. It's like having a compass in the storm. It helps us navigate through challenges and maintain a steady course. To overcome the habit of letting emotions rule us, mindfulness becomes a valuable ally. Mindfulness is like a sturdy boat. It helps us navigate through the waves without capsizing. By being present in the moment and observing our emotions with curiosity and non-judgment, we gain the ability to respond wisely instead of reacting impulsively. Buddhism encourages us to cultivate a balanced mind through practices like loving-kindness meditation. It's like planting seeds of compassion in our hearts. These seeds grow into a garden that allows us to respond to emotions with kindness, both towards ourselves and others. By embracing emotional intelligence, we develop a skill set that empowers us to understand, navigate, and learn from our emotions. Incorporating these teachings into our lives helps us break free from the habit of letting emotions rule us. Instead of being at the mercy of emotional storms, we become captains of our emotional ships, steering with mindfulness and compassion. By cultivating emotional intelligence, we navigate the seas of feelings with resilience, maintaining a steady course towards mental strength and well-being. Habit number 8. Trying to control everything. Trying to control everything is like juggling too many balls. It's exhausting, and eventually we might drop them all. This habit weakens our minds because it sets us up for frustration and disappointment. It's like attempting to catch the wind, impossible and frustrating. Buddhist teachings guide us to understand why this habit makes us mentally weak and how we can find empowerment in the paradox of surrendering control. In Buddhism, the concept of non-attachment teaches us to let go of the illusion of control. It's like realizing we can't hold on to the clouds. They are always changing and shifting. When we try to control everything, it's like trying to hold on to water. It slips through our fingers, leaving us feeling powerless. Surrendering control doesn't mean giving up. Instead, it means recognizing the limits of our influence. It's like planting seeds in a garden. We nurture them, but we can't control the weather. The weather might bring rain or shine, and we must accept that some things are beyond our control. By accepting the impermanence of life, we learn to focus our energy on what we can control. It's like steering a boat in a storm. We may not control the weather, but we can navigate our vessel. This shift from trying to control everything to focusing on what we can influence helps us move from a passive complaining mode to an active problem-solving mindset. Buddhism also introduces the practice of letting go, which is like releasing a balloon. We feel lighter when we let go of unnecessary burdens. Letting go doesn't mean giving up. It means releasing the tight grip on control and allowing space for positive change. Incorporating these Buddhist teachings into our lives helps us break free from the habit of trying to control everything. By accepting impermanence, focusing on what we can control, and practicing letting go, we cultivate a more balanced and resilient mindset. This empowers us to navigate life's challenges with greater ease and adaptability, leading to mental strength and well-being. Habit number 9. Dwelling on the past. Dwelling on the past is like carrying a heavy backpack full of old stuff. It slows us down and makes the journey harder. This habit weakens our minds because it keeps us stuck in what's already happened, preventing us from fully enjoying the present or looking forward to the future. It's like trying to drive a car while constantly looking in the rearview mirror. We're likely to miss what's ahead. The teachings of Buddhism help us understand why dwelling on the past makes us mentally weak and how we can break free from these chains. In Buddhism, the practice of mindfulness teaches us to be present in the here and now. It's like opening the windows to let in fresh air. It clears out the stuffiness of dwelling on the past. By letting go of the past, we create space for new experiences and opportunities. Dwelling on the past also ties us to old wounds and grievances. It's like keeping a wound covered in a bandage long after it has healed. It hinders us from fully embracing life. Buddhism encourages us to practice forgiveness, not just for others, but also for ourselves. Forgiveness is like opening the door to release the past. It allows us to step into the present unburdened. The teachings of impermanence in Buddhism remind us that everything changes. It's like watching a river flow. The water never stays the same. When we cling to the past, it's like trying to freeze the river. It becomes stagnant and loses its vitality. By acknowledging the impermanence of all things, we free ourselves from the chains that bind us to past experiences. To overcome the habit of dwelling on the past, self-compassion is crucial. It's like offering a kind word to a friend in need. We deserve the same kindness. By treating ourselves with compassion and understanding, we break free from the self-imposed prison of regret and guilt. The past becomes a teacher rather than a jailer. Incorporating these teachings into our lives empowers us to let go of the chains that bind us to the past. By embracing mindfulness, forgiveness, and self-compassion, we create a path toward liberation. Breaking free from the habit of dwelling on the past allows us to step into the present with lightness and openness, ready to embrace the unfolding moments of our lives. Habit number 10. Worrying about what others say and do. Buddhist teachings guide us to understand why this habit makes us mentally weak and how we can cultivate a more grounded and self-assured mindset. When we worry excessively about others' opinions, it's like trying to fit into a mold that doesn't reflect our true selves. This constant concern creates a barrier to our own happiness and fulfillment. The concept of right view in Buddhism encourages us to see things as they are, not as we fear or wish them to be. By adopting this perspective, we can free ourselves from the undue influence of others' judgments. It's like clearing away clouds to reveal the clear sky. We see our true nature and potential without distortion. Mindfulness plays a crucial role in overcoming this habit. It's like putting on noise-cancelling headphones. We can tune out the distracting chatter of others' opinions and focus on our inner voice. By being present in the moment and observing our thoughts without attachment, we gain clarity about our own values and desires. Self-acceptance is another key aspect of Buddhist teachings. It's like finding a safe harbor in a storm. We find peace within ourselves, regardless of external circumstances. By accepting ourselves as we are, we build a foundation of inner strength that isn't easily shaken by others' words or actions. Incorporating these teachings into our lives helps us break free from the habit of worrying about what others say and do. By practicing right view, mindfulness, and self-acceptance, we cultivate a sense of inner peace and resilience. We learn to navigate life with confidence, anchored in our true selves, rather than swayed by the ever-changing opinions of others. This journey towards authenticity and mental strength allows us to live more fully and joyfully. Worrying about what others say and do is like carrying around a heavy backpack filled with other people's thoughts. It burdens our minds and hinders our authenticity. This habit weakens us because it ties our self-worth to external opinions, like sailing a boat that's tossed around by every passing wave. The teachings of Buddhism offer insights into why this habit makes us mentally weak and how we can liberate ourselves from the shackles of constant judgment. In Buddhism, the practice of equanimity encourages us to remain balanced amidst the changing tides of praise and criticism. It's like standing on solid ground while the winds of opinions blow. We stay steady. When we worry too much about what others say, it's like building our house on shaky ground. It becomes vulnerable to every passing storm. By cultivating equanimity, we develop resilience in the face of external judgments. Judging ourselves based on others' opinions is like letting someone else hold the mirror. We see ourselves through their eyes, not our own. Buddhism teaches the importance of self-acceptance and authenticity. It's like wearing our favorite clothes instead of trying to fit into someone else's wardrobe. We express ourselves genuinely. By letting go of the need for constant approval, we break free from the limitations imposed by others' expectations. Mindfulness, a central theme in Buddhism, helps us become aware of our thoughts and reactions. When we worry about what others say, it's like being lost in a maze of opinions. Mindfulness acts as a guiding light, helping us find our way back to our true selves. By being present in the moment, we can observe these worries without getting entangled in them. To overcome the habit of worrying about others' opinions, self-love becomes a powerful antidote. It's like planting seeds of kindness within ourselves. These seeds grow into a garden of self-acceptance. By recognizing our intrinsic worth and embracing our unique qualities, we build a shield against the arrows of external judgments. Incorporating these teachings into our lives liberates us from the mental weakness tied to worrying about what others say and do. By practicing equanimity, embracing authenticity, and cultivating self-love, we break free from the chains that bind us to external opinions. Breaking the habit of constant judgment allows us to navigate our own course, steering towards a life guided by inner strength and authenticity. Conclusion. The teachings of Buddhism provide a comprehensive guide to overcoming habits that make us mentally weak. By weaving mindfulness, compassion, and wisdom into the fabric of our daily lives, we can transcend negative patterns and cultivate enduring mental strength. This exploration serves as an invitation to embark on a transformative journey, integrating the profound teachings of Buddhism into the tapestry of our existence. May the wisdom of these teachings illuminate the path to a resilient and empowered mind, inspiring a life filled with purpose, compassion, and joy.